Channel premiere everyone's been waiting for. It's Monstober, all October long on Disney Channel.
Don't go away. That's So Raven will be right back.
Disney Channel live-action sitcoms are a fundamental part of a lot of people's childhoods. Growing up, you were either a Nickelodeon kid or a Disney Channel kid, or in my case, weird, and both. Disney Channel had so many shows, a lot of which are bangers, and as you may know, a lot of these shows are connected to each other in some way or another. What this means is that a lot of these shows are a part of the same universe, meaning the characters in one show could theoretically visit characters from another show, and in some cases, they actually do. Today, we are going to break down the complete timeline of these interconnected shows, some of which you're going to be very surprised to learn. I know I was. Unlike Nickelodeon, Disney had no problem dropping crossovers for shows with shows that are not even part of the same network. Even if you never really watched some of these shows, I will try my best to explain what the shows are and what purpose they served in the Disney Channel. The same rules as last time also apply now. Rule number 1, no non-canon material. It has to be within the shows themselves and not elsewhere like in a commercial or somewhere else. Number 2, an actor appearing in multiple projects does not mean those multiple projects are connected to each other. And rule number 3, no multiverse. The only shows we're going to be talking about are shows that are in the same universe. I'm keeping it. Okay, let's begin. The first show on our list is the 2003 show, That's So Raven. That's So Raven is about Raven-Symoné and how she has psychic abilities to see into the future at random times. She often misunderstands events that are going to happen and tries to stop them from happening, but ultimately ends up causing the event anyway. It was a pretty funny show that was aimed more towards teenagers and young girls. Didn't stop me from liking it. What? So That's So Raven actually got a spin-off and a sequel show that are directly connected. These two would be Cory in the House and Raven's Home. The show focuses on Cory, who moves from San Francisco, California to Washington, D.C. with his father, Victor, who gets a new job as the White House executive chef. How high class. And Raven's Home is about Raven and Chelsea, both divorced single mothers, and are now raising their children in an apartment together in Chicago. Comedy ensues when it's revealed that Raven's son actually has the same psychic ability that she had. Pretty cool. So let's go back to That's So Raven. We can actually go ahead and add two very popular shows, as there was a massive crossover event every Disney Channel watching early 2000s kid remembers. That being the That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana crossover event. A 3-show crossover connecting the worlds of That's So Raven, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was set at the Tipton Hotel and centers on Zack and Cody Martin, a twin of twin brothers who lives in the hotel suite. They constantly get into wacky shenanigans. Hannah Montana, on the other hand, was about a teenager, Miley Stewart, and her alter ego, famous pop star, Hannah Montana. The show focuses on the troubles of being a pop star, balancing being a normal teenager and being a pop star in secret, and just going through high school, which, as you know, has its own set of problems. Hannah Montana also got a movie, so you can go ahead and add that as well. This crossover was actually a huge deal because not only were these 3 shows very popular at the time, it confirmed that these shows took place in the same world. It was so good, they had to run it back. Later on, they did another 3-show crossover with 2 new shows added. That would be the kinda sequel, kinda not, Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana. This would be a crossover between Hannah Montana, as well as 2 new shows to add to our list, Sweet Life on Deck and Wizards of Waverly Place. Sweet Life on Deck was a direct sequel to the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, with the main difference being that instead of a hotel, they're on a boat now. Deal with it, okay? With Wizards of Waverly Place, this show follows Alex, Justin, and Max Russo. They are 3 teenage wizards in training living in an apartment. They get lessons on how to be a proper wizard from their father while learning a few life lessons along the way. Wizards also got a movie and a sequel series called Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, following Justin 15 years after the events of the original Wizards. Justin Russo has to help Billy, a young wizard in training. He has to learn how to juggle being a normal father while being a mentor and, learning some lessons of his own along the way. Sweet Life on Deck also did a collab with the show I'm in the Band. This show is about a teenage boy who becomes a lead guitarist for his favorite washed-up rock band, trying to make a comeback. They let him be the lead guitarist in exchange for letting them live in his house in the suburbs. bit creepy, but okay. Okay, let's take a breath. So from here you can kind of split the eras of Disney Channel up, and if I were going to, I would end the first era around here, the very early 2000s into the early 2010s. This next era would change up the formula for how they handled crossovers, which makes my life so much easier. To start this new era, we're going to be looking at the 2011 show, Jessie. Following Jessie Prescott, Jessie is about, well, Jessie, a young woman from a small town with big dreams of becoming a famous actress. While we all wait for that to happen, she accepts a job as a nanny in New York and moves into a multi-million-dollar penthouse on the Upper West Side of Manhattan with the wealthy Ross family. Now, how do we connect this to the other shows we mentioned so far? Easy. This guy right here, Mr. Mosby. Mr. Mosby is the main character on the shows Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Sweet Life on Deck. He appears in an episode of Jessie at the New York Tipton Hotel, where he runs into Jessie and they have a little chat. At one point, he even calls Cody from the show and tells him that Jessie looks exactly like Bailey from Sweet Life on Deck, which is funny because they are both played by the same actress. Do you see, Nickelodeon? That's how you have the same actress play multiple characters across different shows while having them still be connected. Why don't you go ahead and take some notes? This is just such a fun time. This is so much easier than the last timeline I had to put together. I mean, characters are just popping in from show to show. I don't have to check for posters in the background of episodes just to see if two shows are connected to each other. I can't wait for their next big crossover event. Something like Austin and Ally and Jessie. That would make my life so much easier if it was just that simple. And you probably think I'm being sarcastic, but nope, there's a crossover called Austin and Jessie and Ally. We're so back! Disney, you're so cool. Sometimes. Austin and Ally is about Austin Moon, who loves the spotlight and becomes an overnight sensation, and Ally Dawson, who writes music for him but rather stay out of the spotlight. And they learn a thing or two about each other and maybe learn a few lessons along the way. In a special called Austin and Jessie and Ally, Austin Moon and cast go to New York for a New Year's Eve show where they meet the cast of Jessie. Very simple, very clean. So from here, I think the best place to go would be the Disney Channel 2015 Halloween special, the Monstober Spooktacular Weekend. But I feel like we need to set up a vibe first, because it's Halloween, you know what I mean? It's the Halloween special, we need to have something. Let me set the vibe, hold on. Are you scared yet? I know I am. I think this light source really brings out my eyes. And like, everything else about me. In 2015, Disney hosted the Monstober Spooktacular Weekend. This spooktacular had several shows going to the exact same Halloween party event in New York City. So a total of 7 different shows all decided to go to New York on the same Halloween. Not just New York, Central Park. All at the same time. 7 different groups of people all decided from around the world they want to go to New York City on that specific Halloween. Wizards exist in this universe, and somehow that's the most unbelievable part of it. So first, let me list a bunch of shows, and then we can connect them. I'm gonna need you to stay focused here because it's going to get very fast and very crazy. And you know, maybe we'll learn a lesson or two. I Didn't Do It was a show about brother-sister twins Lindy and Logan Watson, and their 3 best friends as they begin their freshman year of high school. Girl Meets World is about Riley Matthews and her best friend Maya Hart as they navigate the challenges of life in school. Casey Undercover was about Casey Cooper, a math genius who gets recruited by her parents after she discovers they are secretly undercover spies working for an agency called The Organization. Best Friends Whenever is about 2 girls who are granted time travel abilities just by thinking about where they want to go and interacting with each other in some way. And finally, Liv and Maddie is about twins Liv and Maddie, both played by Dove Cameron. When I learned that, it blew my mind. Liv is a girly girl, at least that's what Wikipedia called her, and that felt weird to say. Liv is a pretty successful actress, while her sister Maddie is more of a tomboy who likes sports and is not a girly girl. Didn't like it the second time either. Anyway, these shows seem unrelated, but let's go to New York in 2015, because apparently everyone's doing it. Logan and Delia from I Didn't Do It appear in Jessie, the ghostest with the mostest. Austin and Ally appeared in Girl Meets World of Terror 2. Trish and Des from Austin and Ally appeared in I Didn't Do It. Emma and Zuri Ross from Jessie appeared in Casey Undercover, All Hallows Eve. Riley and Lucas from Girl Meets World appeared in Best Friends Whenever, Sid and Shelby's Haunted Escape. Ernie and Judy Cooper from Casey Undercover appeared in Austin and Ally, Scary Spirits, and Spooky Stories. Finally, Sid and Shelby from Best Friends Whenever appeared in Liv and Maddie, Haunta Rooney. Woo! So these characters all appeared in each other's shows, which was very cool to see if you watched all of these specials live that weekend. It's a very fun way to connect a bunch of shows without having to do major crossover events. The characters just appeared in the show, made their little cameo, and then left. So you can go ahead and add all 7 of those shows to the list. Okay, it's no longer Halloween now, so we can stop this. Next up, let's go to Jessie, because they actually had a few more crossovers that's going to help us even more with this list. Jessie did a collab with Good Luck Charlie in 2013, titled Good Luck Jessie, NYC Christmas. The show Good Luck Charlie focuses on the Duncan family, a family in Denver trying to adjust to the births of their 4th and later 5th children. One of these children, Teddy Duncan, adds to a video diary that contains advice for Charlie about their family and life as a teenager. Each video diary ends with Teddy saying the iconic phrase, "Good luck, Charlie." Jessie also had a direct spin-off called Bunked. It's a little show about the kids going to a summer camp and did pretty well at the start, but actually I'm not really sure what happened to it. I watched the first season or 2, but then I really fell off it. I'm actually not sure how long it lasted or anything like that, so let's see what the internet has to say. So the show ended 2 years ago. It went on for 7 seasons. Where is the Bunked fandom? Because I had no idea it was so strong. Who the hell was watching Bunked in 2022? I'm pretty sure the kids from Jessie left a few seasons in, so what the hell is going on? Now I'm pissed. Sorry to all the Bunked heads out there. Okay, so our next topic is pretty interesting and puts into debate for the first time whether something is canon or not to the DSU, the Disney sitcom universe. In 2014, Jessie did a collab with a pretty popular animated show. It was actually a superhero show. A pretty famous superhero. You may have heard of him.
I've got a plan. Run! That's a good plan!
Spider-Man? In this episode, the cast of Jessie teams up with Spider-Man of all people and goes on an adventure with him. How? In the episode, they are entirely animated and just talk about Spider-Man as if it's a normal, everyday occurrence. Spider-Man was never once mentioned in any other DSU show. You would think the characters of a show that live in New York would mention Spider-Man, but they never do. And when they meet him, they're barely phased, so what's the plan here? Because if this one is canon, then we're gonna have to add all of the Avengers TV shows and all the shows that they collaborated with, and for some reason that doesn't feel right. I can accept wizards and time travel and seeing into the future, but Iron Man? That's where I draw the line. So you know what? Let's come back to this. Maybe a future show can help us out here with this problem that we have. Alright, so moving on. Good Luck Charlie did a collab with the show Shake It Up, which follows the adventures of Cece Jones and Rocky Blue as they star as the background dancers on a local show, also chronicling their adventures on and off set and their troubles and rising social status at school. Next up is the show Ant Farm, which is a little tricky to connect as they did not really have a direct crossover with another show. The series stars China Parks, an 11-year-old musical prodigy who is the newest member in the Advanced Natural Talent program. ANT. Get it? You get it? A gifted program at Webster High School that allows gifted middle school students to skip middle school and go straight into high school. Luckily, while there is no direct connection, a character from Sweet Life on Deck, Mr. Hashimoto, appears as an antagonist on Ant Farm for only a few episodes. Whew, that was a close one. All of you Ant Farm heads can finally rest easy knowing that your show is canon to the DSU. It's me. I'm the Ant Farm head. This show rocked. So this universe is pretty stacked so far, but I just wish we had some sort of canine that kept an online journal. An idea that's so totally good and not just an example of them coming up with a name first and building a show around it. My prayers have been answered. Dog with a Blog is next, as one of the characters wears Metalhead merchandise, shown in one episode, which is the rival band in the show, I'm in the Band, and that is the only direct connection, believe it or not. And while we are here, I just want to say, how the hell can a dog have a blog? He don't got thumbs. How does he type? When he's typing in the show, he just smacks his paws against the keys. Do you think I'm stupid, Disney? Who is the dog's ghostwriter? Next up is actually 2 more recent Disney Channel original shows. First up is a show called Just Roll With It, in which Raven Simone from Raven's Home and Miranda May from Bunked appear. As remember, this show came out in 2019 and Bunked was apparently still going very strong. After that, we have a show called Saturdays, which did a collaboration with Raven's Home. Pretty full circle how we start and end with That's So Raven for this section. So as for the Disney Channel original content, we're kind of done. The universe kind of ends around here, and the other shows they made after this, like Sunny with a Chance and So Random, shout out to Shane and Damien, my goats, did not connect in any way. In fact, they actually went out of their way to make sure that we knew that these shows were not connected by mentioning the other Disney Channel shows as shows within the universe. And unlike Nickelodeon, where they did that all the time with shows that were actually directly connected to each other, because Nickelodeon hates me. But just because this is the end of the Disney Channel shows does not mean we're done with the list. Kinda not even close.
We'll be right back to Show Me the Monday with Crash and Bernstein on Disney X. You posted what? What? You posted what? Lab Rats, you posted what? Premieres in less than 1 hour right here on Disney X. And now, back to Show Me the Monday with Crash and Bernstein on Disney XD.
So Disney Channel shows did very well. They all performed pretty greatly. They always put shows on there that they were very confident in and put so much effort into advertising and making sure that those shows did great. And of course, they had a lot of shows that they were not so confident in. And they made another channel strictly for these shows to go to called Disney XD. It wasn't just for less popular shows, it was actually aimed more towards young teens and guys, as a lot of guys saw Disney Channel as just for girls, with shows like Good Luck Charlie and Jessie being very popular. Yeah, for girls. Who would watch? I did not have Disney XD growing up, so unfortunately I'm not too familiar with these shows I'm about to go over, so please forgive me as I kind of speed past these as quick as possible. In an episode of Ant Farm, we see Revenge of the Hemogoblin, a poster for a movie that plays in universe. We see this exact same poster in the 2011 show that was on Disney XD, Kickin' It. This show is about Bobby Wasabi Martial Arts Academy and how it is known to be the worst dojo. To improve the dojo's image, a tight-knit crew of underdogs enlist Jack to join and help teach them about life, karate, and maybe learn a thing or two along the... From my understanding, however, this is the only connection between the Disney Channel and Disney XD shows. Unless I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. And also big thanks to Mr.Nostalgia, whose video I watched to help me with this list. As I said, I was not familiar with Disney XD, so this was a very big help. So again, shout out to him. A character named Dale Davis from Zeke and Luther appears in the Kickin' It episode Wax On, Wax Off. My man's Dale also appeared in an episode of Pair of Kings. You see, they had a somewhat crossover event when the three shows experienced a heat wave between the three shows, and Dale was the weather reporter that gave them all the news. It's very strange how that's the second time a heat wave caused multiple shows that would not be connected otherwise to be connected. If I had a nickel every time that happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. While on the topic of natural events connecting multiple shows, there was actually a lunar eclipse which affected 2 more of these shows. That would be Kickin' It and Lab Rats. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Nostalgia. You helped me out so much with this list. You're so kind. Lab Rats did a crossover event with the show Mighty Med and Kirby Buckets. So Adam, now! So I think it's time to address the Spider-Man and Jessie connection from earlier, because I think Lab Rats could actually help us out here. According to the Lab Rats lore, they're aware of superheroes but recognize them from comic books. Since the show is about superheroes, you would think if the Avengers were there, they would reach out to help or something, but they don't. In fact, they make it very clear they're the only heroes in that universe until they meet the casts of Mighty Med and whatnot. So there is only one way that I see it. Either you can have the Jessie and Spider-Man show be canon, but that would contradict all of the Disney XD stuff, or you can say the Disney XD stuff is canon, but that would contradict the Jessie and Spider-Man crossover. So either you have to include the Avengers and Spider-Man into this universe, or the Lab Rats, Mighty Med, those Disney XD shows to the universe, because having both of them contradicts each other, so you really get to choose which one you believe it is more accurate to the timeline. And for the purposes of this video, I will be including the Disney XD shows because I feel like it makes more sense in the timeline, and plus when you start to add animation and whatnot, it gets a little complicated. But the decision really is yours. If you believe the Avengers are in the universe over the Lab Rats, so be it. But I believe in the Lab Rats, so suck it up! Next up, we have Lab Rats Elite Force, which is kind of a Sam and Cat situation, where characters from Lab Rats and Mighty Med actually team up to make their own spin-off show. Pretty cool. A character from Elite Force also makes a cameo in Gamer's Guide to Pretty Much Everything, so bam, another one for the books. Back to Zeke and Luther. Zeke and Luther did a collab with the Disney Channel Latin America show of all things, called Peter Punk. You see, the Latin American Disney Channel network has different shows than we have here. Sure, sometimes they take Jessie or Ant Farm and dub it into Spanish, but sometimes they make their own original programming made specifically for that Spanish audience. And the Latin America shows actually had their own interconnected universe as well. So you can add all of the Latin American shows that connected to each other to this list. Those shows include Peter Punk, Baya, Soy Luna, Violeta, Once, Joacus, and Cuando Toca la Campana. I butchered that. I'm also gonna add Aaron Stone and Crash and Bernstein to the list. I'm not entirely sure why, but Mr. Nostalgia did it, and I already ripped him off a couple of times, so why not one more? So yeah, that's kind of all of the Disney Channel shows that are connected to each other. There is no big time rush this time around to make things all complicated. In fact, it's pretty simple, all things considered. I'm not forgetting literally anything. Nothing at all.
Hey.
What?
You know you have to talk about Girl Meets World, right?
I mean, I don't have to.
Yeah, you kinda do.
Fuck.
Are you trying to juggle work and family responsibilities?
Even making time for our TV kids isn't easy.
Lack of time may make you feel guilty, but there are things you can do.
Call your kids from work just to say hi.
Schedule time to be together and give them your full attention regularly.
Make time for heart-to-heart talks and let them know that you love them.
A little time together can go a long way in bringing a family closer, and your family matters.
So if you remember, Girl Meets World is actually on this list. They were a part of that huge Halloween crossover, this. And what you probably know is that Girl Meets World is actually a sequel series to the show Boy Meets World. Boy Meets World was an icon in 90s television and did well enough to get a sequel made years later. So it seems simple enough, just add Boy Meets World and move on, right? No! You see, Boy Meets World was part of the ABC sitcom interconnected universe, meaning they had their own shows that were connected to each other, so we need to add all of them. So we're not actually gonna break down each show anymore because we don't have time. I will only explain a couple that I think are important, but no, we're just gonna talk about the shows that are connected and move on. Are you ready? Because I'm not. Boy Meets World is connected to Step by Step, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Family Matters. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is connected to You Wish and Clueless. So, real quick, let's talk. Family Matters follows the Winslow family in Chicago, led by police officer Carl and his wife Harriet. The plot centers on their everyday dynamics and working class struggles. Midway through the first season, their nerdy neighbor, Steve Urkel, was introduced, quickly becoming the show's chaotic sci-fi inventing breakout star and center of the series moving forward. My man Steve Urkel's so good he took over the whole show. That's my goat for real. So back to it. This show is connected to Mego. Sure, Mego is also connected to Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island is connected to Back to the Beach and Baywatch? Yeah. So back to my goat Steve Urkel. He made a direct cameo in Full House, so that plus Fuller House can be added. Fuller House did a collaboration with Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Also, a connection I failed to mention earlier was in That's So Raven. That's So Raven and Saved by the Bell take place in the exact same high school, that being Bayside High School. There's a little fun fact for your next trivia night. Going back to Family Matters. Family Matters is actually a spin-off of the show Perfect Strangers. Who would have known? Probably a lot of people. They did a collaboration with Happy Days. Happy Days centers on the wholesome Cunningham family and their teenage son, Richie. The show highlights everyday adolescent experiences, romance, and the enduring bond between Richie and the local greaser, the Fonz. So, that's Happy Days, and let me tell you, I'm not having a happy day for what's about to happen next. Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, Out of the Blue, Honey Loves Chachi, that sounds bad, are all spin-offs of Happy Days. The Fonz also appears in Sesame Street, so sure, why the hell not at this point? Potsy from Happy Days also appears in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so there you go. Also, I forgot to mention, Sabrina the Teenage Witch also did a collaboration with, let me see real quick. No, what? Kenan and Kel. Kenan and Kel from Nickelodeon. Kenan and Kel was the only show that I could not connect to the Nickelodeon timeline. If that show connected, then we would have had the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon have a direct connection with each other through Sabrina the Teenage Witch. But we can't. That's such a bummer. But what's more of a bummer is that Kenan and Kel actually had a crossover of their own. Cousin Skeeter? There is no way Cousin Skeeter made it into the Disney timeline and not the Nickelodeon one. I'm pissed. Alright, well, I am going to stop. Because if you could believe it, I could keep going. The amount of shows that are connected in some way is genuinely unbelievable. I found an article online that maps out all of the sitcoms that are connected to each other. I found one that has over 500 connections. Trust me when I say I'm choosing to stop here for my own sanity. So there are some problems with this universe, but if we're gonna be honest, not many. The main thing is the amount of doppelgangers that appear, that being two different people that look identical, because they are played by the same actor. They actually addressed this in some of the shows by straight up acknowledging that someone looks like someone else from another show. Like Mr. Mosby saying Jessie looks like Bailey from Sweet Life. So that's just it. There really is no mysterious, deeper reason like the last one we did. While this universe had way more shows added to it, it kind of flows perfectly. They really made sure not to have any contradictions or references to other shows that would not make sense if they were connected to each other. So yeah, this is going to be our final listing of the Disney Channel Interconnected Universe timeline. Here are all of the shows that take place in the same universe. That's So Raven, Cory in the House, Raven's Home, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Sweet Life on Deck, Hannah Montana the movie, Wizards of Waverly Place, Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, Wizards of Waverly Place the movie, I'm in the Band, Jessie, Austin and Ally, I Didn't Do It, Girl Meets World, Casey Undercover, Best Friends Whenever, Liv and Maddie, Good Luck Charlie, Bunked, Shake It Up, Ant Farm, Dog with a Blog, Just Roll With It, Saturdays, Kickin' It, Zeke and Luther, Pair of Kings, Lab Rats, Mighty Med, Kirby Buckets, Lab Rats, Elite Force, Gamer's Guide to Pretty Much Everything, Aaron Stone, Crash and Bernstein, Peter Punk, Baya, Soy Luna, Violeta, Once, Joaquis, Cuando Toca la Campana. I messed those up again. And non-Disney shows we have Boy Meets World, Step by Step, Family Matters, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, You Wish, Clueless, Migo, Gilligan's Island, Back to the Beach, Baywatch, Full House, Fuller House, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Saved by the Bell, Perfect Strangers, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, Out of the Blue, Joni Loves Chachi, Sesame Street, Kenan and Kel, and Cousin Skeeter, bitches! And like I said, we could technically add more, but I wanted to keep it simple. Maybe one day we can talk about how many shows are actually connected to each other, strictly based on crossover events and not really worrying about it making sense or being canon. So I would like to thank all of you for watching. This video, along with the last one I did, took a long time to make. I grew up with Nickelodeon and Disney, so it was really fun to be able to take like a little deep dive on these shows I used to watch and see like the crossovers that happened and some that I may have missed. All the love and support I got in the last video really means a lot to me, so I really wanted to get this video out as soon as possible for you guys, because I think you deserve it. And please let me know other shows I missed. I loved reading all the stuff I missed in the last video. Maybe some other timelines or connected universes you want me to talk about. You know, I love talking. But you know, there's a lot of shows on Nickelodeon and Disney. There's so many actually that there's a lot of examples of episodes or even entire shows just being entirely gone. You can't really find them anymore. Entire episodes, broadcasts, or commercials are just completely missing. Like original pilots to shows are missing advertisements a lot of people remember and love, but we can't find anymore. I think it could be pretty interesting to look at some cases of lost media relating to these networks. Could be cool. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. You know, I really appreciate you sitting here through this whole video, listening to me ramble on about these shows, and you know, maybe you learned a lesson or two along the way, you know what I mean?